Hello, hello. This is Kristina, your host today. And today is, like as always, new episode of KSM Podcast Going Business Only with Kristina. You know, I'm so excited today to have my special guest speaker, Lady Sara Troy. And she has amazing story to share with us today. Sarah, welcome to the new episode of KSM Podcast. And tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and what you do.
Well, thank you for inviting me back again. And it's always a pleasure to be here with you. And also, have had you with me. So, I'm a professional podcaster, international podcaster, interview people from all over the world who are making a difference in the lives of others. They've found their passion, their conviction. It's something that drives them. And now they're there to share it with other people in order to shed illumination, skills, tools, wisdom that people can apply. My motto on my shows is listen, learn, and apply. Because there's always something that you've listened to, that you've learned, that when you apply it, it's just going to enhance your own life.
Oh, that's great. And I know that you run a podcast for now more than 12 years. I'm not sure.
13 and a half years, but 12
13
and a
and a
half years
half
with my own
years.
network.
Yeah. And before you started your podcast, and in some way I can say that you're like a pioneer of podcasting. You know, when podcasting was
It was still very new
started.
back in 2012. Yes.
You started. What did you do before you started podcast, and what inspired you to do what you do now, what
Well, actually, it's a
podcasting?
kind of a funny story. I'm also a coach, which is a personality traits coach. That coaching is to do with your true colors, your four key personality traits, where I actually mix it with numerology, Chineseology, astrology, and also the time that you were born to look at your strengths and your weaknesses that can be brought up and weaknesses that you need to delegate to someone else because it will never be your forte, and to embrace those strengths that you have that are consistent through all of the personality traits. I've been doing that for a number of years. But before I started the podcasting, I had invested in a quantum electric motor, and the motor had been proven viable, etc., etc. But we got caught with 2008, the crash, and we also got caught with some people that were unscrupulous. And so there went our technology, and there left me kind of flapping in the wind. And I wrote an article, and somebody saw that article and said, I would love you to join my podcast network. And I said, well, what's a podcast? He goes, back in 2008, 12, I didn't know. And so I joined a live podcast for 13 months. It was a great training ground. And I really got the bug. Listening to people's stories, the things that they've gone through, the choices that they've made to embetter their own lives and then now become that beacon of hope and light for others. And so I started my own. And so 2013, June, I started my own network. And now here I am, podcast books. Produced two, a third one hopefully coming up next year. And still plodding along doing interviewing some extraordinary people like yourself from around the world who have got something to share.
Yeah, yes, and this is very interesting, and just for people, as you just imagine that article, you wrote article, and someone came to you and say, okay, would you like to join this
Yeah.
podcasting education or network and start something like that? And to be honest, I have never thought about that I'm going to be a podcaster because English is my
Mhm.
second language. I run team for the web and graphic design now more than 15 years. Also, I'm so passionate about speaking more than writing. And this
Mm.
is how I started from the challenge. It was challenge, and I started 21-day challenge, did digital marketing coaching in that time, and I hosted for ladies, for entrepreneurs. And this is how my podcast came up,
Yeah.
because as you know, you never know
No,
how it's going.
no. And
And
that's the thing is,
congratulations on duration of your podcasting. And I was your guest, and I know how do you do that and how you host amazing people from all over the world. And I
Mm-hmm.
can just imagine, and our audience can imagine, how you're fulfilled of different stories and
Oh
maybe
gosh,
change
yes.
people's life.
So much. I always say, people say, how many people listen? I said, all those that are ready to hear. How many people's lives does it change? And if it changes one, I'm happy. Right. And that is thing is that once that podcast is out there, it's beyond my control. How people listen to it, what they get from it, what they do with it is purely up to them. And my responsibility is putting out that content for them. We have no control of how people use it. But I think when it comes from the heart and it has good intent, those good vibrations, that's what people pick up on. And that's, I think people then begin to listen more. My shows are long, as you know, they're an hour or more. And a lot of people just want 10-minute quick fixes. And I'm for the people who are hungry to know more, hungry to know the layers. And it's wonderful, interviewing people where we start off with one way and then the reveal really comes. As the onion gets peeled away, we get to the core, and so much valuable information is then revealed there. And I think if you really want to learn and you really want to have answers to what maybe your problem is, or choices you need to make, or is this for me, listen to the people that are doing it and take notes. As I said, listen, learn, and apply, because it's those little nuggets that are unexpected in a podcast that come out that end up being quite profound. So if you're not willing to listen, you're not going to learn and you'll have nothing to apply. So time is something that you need to invest in, and that means time to listen to these experts and what they have to share.
Yeah, and this is very interesting because I know through that, this podcast, KSM Growing Business Online with Kristina, is it's third year randomly by FeedSpot, like very a very top 20 to listen to in category of online business. And when I deliver it on FeedSpot, I didn't know about it. But
Mm,
yes, this is because of content. This is of amazing people who share their ups and downs, their challenges. And I think that when people, as you said, we don't really, we don't have control who
mhm.
will listen to. But if we can change some people's life in terms to help them and
Yes.
support through sharing and hosting amazing guest speakers, experts in their fields. So this is something very valuable for people and audience to listen to and learn. And through that, I really learned a lot. And I had amazing answers on my question, which I didn't know. Just
Yes,
asking
yes.
my guest speaker to share with me, I'm learning at the moment, and also my audience. So this is,
Well, that's
in
the
our
beauty of
show
it.
today will be so educational,
No, I mean,
and
and
very
what we're
interesting.
what we're doing, we're very organic. We're letting it flow, and like when I take my shows, we're going to talk around a particular topic, but how we talk around that topic is in the flow, is in the synergy of our energies and what is to come out, and it's allowing. Yes, we want to address A, B, and C, but how we address A, B, and C organically is really where it's at, because that's when you really do get the flow, the rhythm, in which people listen to and they pick up what they need to pick up from. The question answer, too rigid. People want flow, and I want people to have flow in their lives. I want them to get into their rhythm of their own algorithm beat. And when you learn how to do that, you can weather any storms along the way.
Yeah, yeah, and I love that because, and you're so experienced podcaster, so you know how you how people resonate with that, and especially
Mm,
when people wanted to share their story, especially when they wanted to, in some way, to be promoted, in some way
yeah.
to pop up, in some way that people and listeners, audience can hear their voice. This is so valuable,
And
I
that's the
believe.
thing, is that, some podcasts are to promote what the work they're doing, but I call them why shows. Why
Mm.
are you doing what you're doing? Whom does it serve and how? But I want people to know the why. What journey have they taken to doing what they're doing today? And why are they doing it? Because even if I'm promoting you through the podcast, people want to connect to your why. Why are you doing it? Because if they know you're not just in it for a buck, but you're in it out of conviction, but this is a calling, this is a passion, a purpose, then people warm up to you so much more because they know that you're very engaged in what it is you have to offer. And it's not just something, oh, well, I can do it, I can make money out of it. I don't really interview those type of people. I interview the people that have had their redirect or their cosmic 2x4, and they really have stepped into something that is meaningful to them. And through that meaningfulness, they have found skills and tools and abilities that they can now share with other people.
Yeah, that's as you said, you have never knew into your organic
Mm.
interviewing people uh what what will be the next step, what they will answer.
Yep.
And sometimes they from this podcast also guest speakers get knowledge also to get their direction where they want to
Mm-hmm.
go. Maybe they're in that moment is stuck, but when they're sharing something and they just are in the other shoes, just because they are a speaker, they share that and they get some ideas maybe to change something in their
Yes.
life and
Yes,
business and
because, you know, we're
however.
learning from them too. I mean, you know, people who say, "Oh, do you go to therapy?" I don't need to. Of all the shows that I've done, it's been an absolute incredible therapy. It's been wonderful for me. You cannot help but learn so much through being the podcast host because it rubs off on you. You're so inspired by people's journeys. I've interviewed people that you wouldn't have blamed them if they'd given up. You wouldn't have, for what had happened to them, which should never happen to a human being. You wouldn't have blamed them for giving up. But instead, they decided, A, not to be the victim, but to go through the process of healing, of discovering their own strength, their own courage, their own abilities, and then become that beacon of hope and how for others. And they chose to do that. And that, I think, is one of the biggest lessons. We can choose our path. We can't choose what happens to us. We can choose what we do with it and who we become because of it. That power lies within us. And when you interview people who have taken that choice, who have empowered themselves, it cannot help but be empowering to you.
That's so true, and I'm super happy to have you again today, because we in between our previous podcast always things change,
Yes,
and we always have something to share, you know.
always.
And today you mentioned before we starting the show today that you and also in the part in the show about your book. How did you feel to start writing a book? Because you have a lot of content, I mean, about
Yes, well,
podcasting.
actually, for the people that are looking, the books behind me, Dare to Live Fearlessly, Selfish and Not Easily Manipulated, Mission Accepted 262, those are books that I've contributed into, so anthologies. The blue book there is my own memoir. Um, and then this is a book I put out last year, Our Forgotten Children. It's an anthology around the raising of a children and what we need to change, what we need to be aware of, the difficulties for parents, difficulties for children, what will help them, you know, just changing that system and being aware. And I had a book, an ebook before that, which is all about self-discovery, and I had a load of people in that too on an anthology. And the next book is Our Forgotten Seniors, where I will have seniors come on and share all that they've achieved, and we can champion that, what they find difficult and challenges in being a senior, and their warning to the youth and how to prepare for their seniorship. So I call them awareness books, because if we don't bring aware, you know, when we're aware, we care. When we care, we do something about it, but we cannot be unaware anymore. And I think that awareness is something that I'm very much an advocate for. Um, there's so many changes needed in the world, and half the time we do not know. We're not aware of what's going on. And when we are aware, we never know. We could be part of the solution, but we were just unaware of the problem.
And when you mentioned about that anthology of children. What
Yes.
triggered you to focus on that? Because I know
Mhm.
that you, in terms of podcasting, people all around the world,
Yes.
experts, just simple people, you know, because we're human being, and
Mm.
to interview them for what they do from their heart, you know. And I
Right.
know it as a heart-centered coach, because this is so important. How, when did you see the problem and realized that people need to have awareness about that, and just
Mm.
what triggered you to write that book in terms
Well, in
of
the 12 years
children?
of podcasting, and I've got about 19 different genres, and those genres are different titles, whether you're looking at mental health, spirituality, business, whatever, you'll find shows under those titles. And I've done so many shows on children. I am a mother of three. I have last week became a mother of three grand boys. So, you know, children are extremely important to me because I firmly believe, and this is another thing from doing the shows that I've done, the amount of percentage of people who have healed their inner child. Their inner child was wounded, inner child was trying to speak to them. And that healing of realizing everything that was wrong went back to childhood, went back to that inner child. And if it, why can we not prevent the trauma of an adult by taking care of the children and the family now? So it became something from all the shows that I did that I realized we needed to have a book on it. I'm hoping to produce more books on our forgotten children and expand the story out even more. It's not easy gathering authors, people who are willing to commit, because they do 2 summits, they do a why podcast, they do a chapter podcast, and of course, you know, get behind the book. So I need people that are really committed to that. But it's a passion of mine to bring out, you know, children, families. I think what we're looking at in society, we're not investing in families, which case we're not investing in children. We're investing in prisons, we're investing in a whole load of stuff at the other end, but none of that needs to happen if we take care of the community, the children, and the families right at the beginning. And also look at our children very much as our indigo children today. They are so divinely attached. They are such a beautiful light. If we raise them in their light, gave them the structure, the skills, and the tools they needed to be uh, who they really are, we wouldn't see people being so disconnected from themselves. Excuse me, getting over a cold. Um, and we wouldn't see them so disconnected from themselves, or feeling that they need to chase something in life instead of allowing themselves to be who they really are. So a lot of societal problems is this chasing an expectation, a dictation from society, rather than embracing the core purpose and who we really are, and allowing that to shine through. So instead of adults healing their inner child, why don't we take care of the children and the families so they can grow up to be beautiful whole adults?
That's yeah, yeah, that's so in connection, because finally I know, and for audience, just to know did you uh how did you um start to write a book? Because yes, you have a lot of in your in terms of your podcasting, you have different genres like
Yeah.
a spirituality, or you know, those
Yes.
kind of things. In my podcast is mostly people want to share their stories about their business, about, you know, small business owners and etc. But as I said, you through your podcasting, you already had a lot material, a lot of
Yes.
content to share it, and just to stress on something in terms to take care about children, about
Yes.
kids, which is so
Yes.
important to have healthy world. I mean, if
Yes.
we raise
Oh my
up
God.
them from their inner child, this is so important. How people they will be, not just only, hey, you know, there are married mothers, they didn't give birth still, you know, they didn't, and they wanted her kid just speak 2 languages, 3 languages. You know, just imagine and put them like what they want as a, but don't let them to be who they are really. They're
Exactly.
only
And that's the big
children.
problem. Exactly.
Like in everywhere, in every country, I
Yes,
mean, just.
absolutely. And, there are a lot of school programs today, like Waldorf and others, where they follow the children's lead. They identify in the child a gift they have, and they help nurture that gift. Now, that doesn't mean that child is going to grow up to be that, because they may pivot to this and pivot to that. But what you're giving is a permission for them to be who they are, saying it's enough, and permission and guidance on exploring and becoming something else. And through the years of doing this, whether it's business shows, and I can tell you, everybody I've interviewed from business was in some form of business, corporate or whatever, following the rules, chasing the carrot, right? And realizing they're utterly miserable. And, either the cosmic 2x4 or a redirect came along, and they're now doing something they love and they're passionate about that actually was in them as a child, right? And they're following that path now. And I think it's if we nurture those children of who they are today, and instead of it's all about the A's and the competition, and if you don't get an A, you're less than, and looking at who they are as human beings, I think we will have a much better society. And it's very, very slowly changing that way. But the more and more, again, through podcasting and other means, we make people aware of this, and they start seeing the benefits of that change.
And just remind them to think about it because of all those technology, all those
Mm,
stuff, what we have at the moment, and also we just sometimes forget on ourselves to
yes,
heal, to
yes,
just we wanted to follow rules, just to have one direction and everything. But sometimes we need to get back inside of us and still
yes,
think about who we are and how we raise up our children in terms of don't they be just like to have our wish to put on children to be who we want it to be. Sometimes we don't
exactly.
give them to play as small kids and to be
Yeah,
who really they are
exactly.
without
And that,
stress, without direction, without you need to be like when you grow up you will be this and that
yeah,
and in terms of business or something like that. So that's we need to release it and give them opportunity to be just only kids and to
yeah.
smile and to play and to be who they really are.
And discover who they really are. My network is called Self-Discovery Wisdom.com. And the reason why it's called that, we're all in discovery of self. Who are we today? I'm not the same woman I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. We're always in discovery of who are we now in the present with what we know and where we're at. And that wisdom is always accessible, ready to download. God, universe, spirit, source, energy, whatever you want to call it. It's ready there to guide us. It's our compass. And it resonates with the heart and truth. It's given to the spirit in action for our mind to know what it needs to know in clarity when it needs to know it. And when we learn to use this knowingness, as I call it, we can apply it to absolutely every choice and decision in life. And we will know whether it feels right or not. The core says yes, go for it. The core says no, don't argue, because I guarantee it's going to be wrong. If we only think it and we don't feel it, we're going to make uneducated choices. When we feel it, we then understand the knowledge that we need in the now. And that's something that children innately have, and that's something that we need to have as adults, and we lost it along the way.
And I really congratulate you and congratulations on your choice uh, to to write that book and to just remind this world to think about small kids to
Yes,
raise up as who they are
yeah,
and discover who they
exactly.
are.
Exactly. They are beautiful beacons of light. Let's keep them shining, because they are hope for the future, right? And yes, they need guidance. Yes, they need knowledge, but it's what knowledge is needed when, and instead of knowledge for knowledge's sake.
When we were kids, we always play like volleyball or just
Mm.
swimming or play with other kids from our corner, street and everything. But and that was the way how we created to the
Mm-hmm.
playing, to the
Mm-hmm.
game. we created, just imagine, I was like, I'm teacher, someone was a director, we
Mm.
were playing a school,
Yes, of course.
over the,
Yeah.
over the summertime, of the holiday time when we don't go to school and on vacation. And it was really lovely. Created a group, brothers, sisters,
Hmm.
playing football, much more running, being in nature. And it was today you have just only some play toys which are so very finalized. This is toy just. I think that kids today they don't have time to to imagine, to give their
No.
imaginations.
I have three grandchildren. One was born last week, or 10 days ago,
Oh my God.
and another little boy.
Mm.
So the one boy is 4.5, and it's 2.5, and a newborn. And the 4.5, both his father and grandfather are engineers. And you can see the engineering mind. And he loves cars. And he loves crashing cars, and he loves taking cars onto the ferry and building bridges. And he's very, very particular how he sees things. The middle one has Down syndrome, and he's rhythmic. He can dance to anything that has a rhythm. And he plays the drum so well. 2.5, my lap is the drum, and anything else that's the drum. And he watches me play and he just follows, and he's really got some rhythm there. So I know that for him, it is all about rhythm and his communication. Of course, the baby is way too small to show us anything that what it's at right now. But if we tap into where they're at and we help them navigate through, instead of saying, no, you've got to do it my way, and say, okay, how about applying this? How about we try this? How about we try that? And help them in their discovery of how things work, rather than telling them how they work and how they must work and they've only got to work in this way. That's what's wrong with society, is people dictating to us what we must and should do, instead of saying, what would you like to do? How do you see it? How would you like to apply it? And that goes from childhood right up to exiting this world.
I know, oh, by the way, just to compare, I know one girl, she's a graduated high schooler, and she just ran to go to the university or law,
Mm.
And I asked her, do you go to listen to, classes and professors and other? And she said, I don't like. And I said, why? She said, I don't like that university. And I said, my father likes that. And I said,
Uh-huh.
why did you listen to your father?
Yeah.
Why did you go to the university which you like? But
Mm.
her father wanted to be a
Well,
lawyer or
very
something
often the
like that.
father's
And
paying the
she
bill.
she lost, she
Yeah.
canceled everything.
Yeah.
She didn't
That's right.
go. She lost 1 year, and she changed. Still now, she's still in high school or start working something. So this is a wish of her father. It wasn't wish of her. So,
Yeah.
however, he needed to give her opportunity to choose what she wants,
Yes.
what she just feel that she can go and learn. Because just imagine you must be a lawyer. That's
Yeah.
something which is she's a high schooler, 18 years old, she's not too small girl.
Yeah.
Finally, it's time to think about her brain, not just to listen only her father.
But what does she want out of life? And I think that everybody that leaves school should have what they call a gap year, a year of travel, a year of living before they go back to school. Now, there are some people I know. My brother wanted to be a writer from the age of 6. So for him, it was already preordained. And you've got people, I want to be a doctor, I want to be this and that. If they want to be that and it's fervently what they want, then go ahead. If people are undecided of what they want, they need to discover who they are, to register what their gift is, what their passion is, what their conviction is, before they go and commit to something. And even when they commit to something that's going to teach them these skills, who is the right teacher? Who is the right school? Are they going to teach in a way that you learn or that you want to learn? It isn't just about, well, school, college, job, 2.2, fence, husband and cat and dog, and divorce, which is mostly what happens, right?
Yes, like
So,
how I can say it, like guidance, this like a format you need to
Yeah.
follow it. And
Yeah.
so in that way, we can say that the kids and children and after live family's life, like a
Yeah.
mother's life, wishes, fathers. They don't have freedom
No.
to have their own choice from childhood to see I love that. Kids sometimes go, I wanted to play football, I wanted to play tennis or change something. But yeah, that's I think that as you said, they need to discover themselves who they really are.
We see so often kids being groomed, tennis, this, that, etc. And then they get to an age and they're at their peak and they could go on even big and they walk away. And because it's been so regimented, it's been so drilled in them that this is it, this is it, this is it, that they've had no time to explore anything else. And they're just saturated. I can't do it anymore. There's got to be something more in life. And I think if we can show our kids, dap your toe in this, try this, try that. Oh, I like this. No, I don't like that. We've got to let them explore what speaks to them. And if we don't, then that's why we end up with problems as adults. We haven't allowed them to explore, who they are. That's the first and foremost. Who are you? Not as an expectation. Who are you as an essence of a human being? And what do you really like? And if we're not willing to explore, oh, I tried my hand at that. No, it wasn't for me. Oh, I did this and I loved it. But after doing that for a while, I realized, no, there's something else I need to do. This whole thing is that you've got to have college, a job, a career, gold watch at the end is obsolete. Many people have many careers, and that's okay. But what if they came out in the beginning following something they really loved? They may change and diversify in that love of what they do, right? And grow and expand. But if we don't love what we're doing, why are we doing it?
This is
And people know. People
this is
know when
such
you
a
don't know.
this is such a big question.
Yes. Yes.
And
Why
I
are
know
you doing
from
it?
a few of my classmates. I know one of my classmates. We get to know on university. She's only one, single. Of the she doesn't have siblings, brothers,
Only an
sisters, and
only
that.
child.
Yeah, only one child, and their mom and daddy, they just strictly wanted that
Uh-huh.
she graduate. She graduated university. She was studying 10 years. I mean, it was hard for her because she didn't like that. And
Yeah.
finally, she didn't get married. She didn't get. Now she will. She's the only one. She lives with her mom. You know, just she didn't get to get the boy, like a
Um,
husband or something like
a
that,
partner,
and
right?
partner. And this is something from I know that their parents just wanted to do something but they didn't have opportunity to put in on herself, and it was like under the pressure, so
Yes.
pressure for her all the time.
And
And
it
her career
backfired.
is finally, you know she only has a job. She works, but I think that she isn't happy.
And there are so many people
Yeah,
that are
many
just going
people.
going through life. It's a job, it's not
This
a
is only
career.
one example,
Yeah.
like everywhere in the world.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been through it. I've done things that I didn't like doing, right? But the thing is, do we have the courage to go, okay, this isn't for me, I'm going to try something else? And that's the point. Can we try something else?
Yeah.
And I've dipped my toes in many, many things. I've had my own dress store. I've run restaurants. I've had my own restaurant. I've worked in corporate. I've been a coach. I've been a counselor. I've been numerous things in life. But what I realized, there was a common denominator, right? A lot of it was that customer service. How do we serve each other? How do we serve people to maximize the best to their ability of who they are and what they want to do and why they want to do it? So we look at a common thread, but if we don't try these other things and see what fits, it's like you don't go into a dress store and go, I'll take that one. We try things on to see how we feel. Oh, I like this one. This feels good. Oh, that looks good, but I don't quite feel it. We try on a few things until we find that something, oh, I feel great in this. And that's the same with a job. It's the same with a spouse or partner, right? We don't go jump into because it's available, right? We've got to find a synergy. We've got to find something that makes us feel connected, makes us feel good. When we do, then we're going to put our all into it. Now we're on discovery of what we can do with it and whom is it for and how can I grow in it and how can I learn more about it. And the excitement and the enthusiasm is there. But if you don't have that enthusiasm, it's just another job.
This is not cliche. We need to be who we really are and
Yeah.
to give our permission to do that, because
Yes.
just not to overcome those obstacles. And I
Yes.
think the beauty of podcasting is that I really enjoy podcasting, because as we as we are talking now, just to share something with people can not, they don't have chance to listen to or think about, because I'm going there, I need this, I need that, I must be there, and it's just,
Mm.
but I think that we need to do that from a heart, to feel
Yes.
that, as you said, like in restaurant. Am I going
Yeah.
to taste it and see? I feel good, I'm not feel good. But no one can tell us about it. We need to feel that and to live that.
Yes, we have to discover it for ourselves, right? People can introduce you to something and you can try it, but unless you have a connection to it, unless you're really feeling it, right? And it may be something, oh, I really do feel it for now. And then you find later on, not quite the fit anymore. All it was a lesson. You were there to gain skills and tools. Go on a discovery to something else. Take those skills and tools with you and apply it to the next thing. And maybe you'll try a few things before you find the right fit. Do not think yourself a failure. Oh, you can't commit. What's wrong with you? No, you just haven't found the right size yet, right? And it's this whole thing about settle down. I used to get this from my family because I'm a flapper. I'm a person that goes with the wind and forever changing and forever discovering. And it's all about, when are you going to settle down and get married? When are you going to have this job? When are you going to have that? And I wasn't that. And the four key personalities, I was the air personality, constantly going with the wind, and they were all the solid expectation, follow the rules and regulations personality. So I was not understood. But for me, it's like I could not commit to something that I don't feel I belong to or I don't feel connected to. I can't give it something that I feel there's a pushback instead of a push forward, right? So it is okay to explore. It is okay to try different things out until there's that something that speaks to you. That I always say this, if you'll do it for free, then you know you found the right thing. Doesn't mean you have to do it for free, but if you would, because it means so much to you, then you know you found the right thing. But explore, please explore. Don't settle.
Yeah, and yeah, and when you meant either that, if we talk about business, if you don't try something, as you mentioned, I try running restaurant and coach and consultant and all those kind of things, but you really need to feel it, because and try. If you don't try, you never know how it's gone with this. But also there are many people who just start something as a hobby, and they
Mm.
feel that, and just business came to their door because
Yes,
something,
yes.
because they love what they do, and you just
And that
attract
resonated
that,
out. Yes,
and you
yes.
go and share and shine and say,
Mm.
oh, or I
Yeah,
really like this product, either any kind of company, whatever.
yeah,
You hear yourself, whatever
yes.
may be. And I know from this, because hosting many also wellness coach or consultant or business owner healers, and it's really true, because if they didn't try that, how they know how they will
Exactly.
feel and do
Yeah. I
that.
mean, that's always my big thing. How do you know? Until you try, you don't know, right? Don't assume. I like the Don Ru's four agreements. Speak your word with integrity. Don't assume, ask, right? Do your very best by your own standards. And I can't remember what the other one was. Um, can't remember the other one, but the assume one most certainly is that people live on assumption, and with assumption comes judgment. And there's always somebody that's going to pass judgment. But you have to look at them. Where are they judging from? Are they really judging you and what you do? Or are they judging themselves because they're not doing it?
Or they don't know what they don't know and
Yeah.
what they do.
Yes, you're not doing it their way, so they don't understand it, so they're going to judge you anyway. And the thing is, don't worry about those people. If you in your own conscience know that what you're doing is right and that it's benefiting other people, then you're on the right path. Somebody comes along and says, well, no, you're doing it wrong, or you need to do this, or you need to do that, or who do you think you are? Blah, 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 blah. It's their issue. They're really talking to their mirror, right? And that's their issue to take care of. Please don't take it on, right? If somebody comes along and says, have you tried something? And it's a suggestion that maybe you could apply. That is not somebody criticizing you. It's giving you a critique that may be able to help you. That's fine. You know who are the judges and those who are the inspirers. But don't let the judges get in your way. I don't know how
Yeah.
many times I've had people say to me, you need to do your podcast this way and that way and this way. And I say, I do it Sara's way. Take it or leave it. That's your choice. It's free will.
We're unique, you know. Your podcast is your, mine is mine, and no one can do it in my way or
No,
in your way.
no,
And this
no.
is a beauty. We're
Yes,
unique.
there are 4.8 million podcasts out there. If I'm not your style, I'm not offended. Go and find someone else.
Shift it.
Yeah, exactly.
Change channel.
Exactly. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's strong cup of coffee. So that's also another big thing is like stop trying to please everybody. There is no one size that fits all. When people feel your heart and they know you're really in it, even if they're not going to do business with you, they'll refer you because you've left an impact on them. But you're not going to please everyone. You're not going to be there for everybody. That's okay. You'll be there for the people that feel your energy, your passion, and then need your services. It's not about pleasing everyone. Let go of that because I guarantee it will let you down.
But to be for everyone there, it's not possible because we're
Not.
different energy and we have to
Yes,
resonate between each other. Like you and
exactly.
me, we met on our networking and
Yeah,
here we are.
exactly. You know, and we've done this a few times, and every time it's different because we have we were going to talk about one thing and we've let it
Yeah, we're
flow. And
not the
that's the
same
thing.
person.
No, we're not. And
We're
that's the beauty,
changing.
growing, growing.
Growing.
And that's the thing is I just turned 71 and I've made a contract with the universe that I'll do this till 90, as long as I can see, hear, and speak. Right. So as long as I can keep up with technology and keep on doing that, then I will continue to do this. I've interviewed 92-year-olds with our own TV who've got chutzpah. I think it's all a question of attitude, and it may not be 90. That's in the universe's hands, but that's what my aim is, right? Because I've still got so much more to learn, and I still want to keep bringing you the teachers, the people that have learned their own lessons and now sharing those lessons, because we're all in discovery of self. We're all at a crossroads at some point in time. We all want to learn from each other. Basically, this is the campfire. When people used to sit around a campfire and share stories and learn from each other, podcasting has become the campfire. And, I always say when people are listening, like they're eavesdropping on our conversation, and I want them to respond and answer us and make suggestions, just come in and join us. But if it leaves you with even one thing, a thought that you hadn't thought about, a perspective, a different attitude towards something, then we've done our work.
And when you said, well said, campfire, that's about podcasting.
Yeah.
This is so true. I love that, really.
I
Yeah.
think, for a lot of people, as I said, I've been doing this a long, long time now and done quite a number of shows. And I've interviewed people from all walks of life, whether it's somebody who's just written a book, um, the wonderful gay prince of India, who a really funny story how he came about. In Vancouver, I missed a train. And so I went into a subway waiting for the next train, and the person who does the ticketing was there. And people just automatically start talking to me. And they found out I'm a podcast, and they go, oh, my cousin is the Prince of India. You should interview him. Oprah's interviewed him. And I said, okay. So she gave me his information. We contacted and I did an interview, and he was absolutely delightful. And it's like, you never know where it's going to come from. This thing that it must follow certain lines and it must follow certain, no. When you're open to receive, you have no idea where things are going to come from or what nuggets they really are. If you let go of it must follow this order and just allow, be invitational, right?
Congratulations, yeah. And I can just imagine how did you do that and how that prince was amazed.
Oh, he was
Just
fabulous. He was
yeah,
fabulous.
and
Yes.
we can also I can share this link once on your podcast that our audience of this podcast episode
Yeah.
today they can just listen to
Yes. Yes. I'll
audio,
send you the link.
video, on YouTube on I
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
you have your
And that's the thing.
podcast.
I've really had the honor of interviewing some extraordinary people. Extraordinary. I've interviewed what a lot I call a lot of virgin podcasters, never done a podcast before. And it's like the lights go on and they're like this, and you just gotta talk them into the flow, and then they get there and then reveal things to me they never told anybody before, right? So it's just feeling comfortable, and we want to know what we're listening to. I'm not interested in the six figures rah. That's not my platform. um it is about how you're enriching other people's lives, one way or the other. How is your wisdom enriching a life? And really, some people have just stepped into their illumination, and it's that light now has become a beacon of information and wisdom for others to see, and I love that.
And when people talk to you, your speakers, do they get back to you, or I think that you're in connection with them and
Oh yes, I get
have
many
their
repeats.
like a follow up or just feedback or just
I get
how
a lot of people
they
I've interviewed
felt.
coming
Yeah.
back, like coming back and being on the show again, or I've written another book, or I've gone something. Oh, it's time for us to have another chat. So I do a lot of series ones, or ones where they just come back again, or we haven't done it in a number of years, and it's like, time for another one, or a lot of referrals. People I've interviewed then referring me to other people. And that's a lot that happens. Um, as far as comments of people, there not many people do comment, but when they do, it's really, really nice. I've had some that have been very impactful. One that said, "You've saved my life," and if if my whole career is around that one life saved, then thank you. I appreciate that. That whatever we spoke about had that impact on you. But again, we don't know what it does for other people. But it's unless they share it with us. But yeah, I have some wonderful people that come back. You'll be back
Yeah,
and we
I
will
was
talk
back.
again,
And
right?
again, again,
Yes,
of
exactly.
course.
Exactly.
Would plan. Yeah, I love that. So, Sarah, we mentioned, but I want to ask you a few questions still. But in terms of your book about the children,
Mhm.
a listener can see that book on Amazon. Where is
Oh,
that
yes,
book?
yes. I mean, you just go to Sara Troy at Amazon and you'll see all of the books that I'm involved in there. So there's Our
Mm.
Forgotten Children.
Please, if you wanted
Um,
to get to know more about our forgotten children, go to the Sara Troy and
there's mine, Sarah's Self-Discovery and Soul Living. And of course, if you go to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, um, there is a link to the book there. Or if you go to orchardofwisdom.org, ORCHARD of wisdom.org, you will see Our Forgotten Children book there with all the shows that correlate along with it, with the people I've interviewed. And because I call them pod books, we do podcasts around what they're doing and the book, and also the information on our forgotten seniors that is coming up, the invitation to have people there. So yeah, it's that is a passion. But one thing I have learned, as I've said on a number of shows, I used to be the hare. I am a visionary. I see things right to fruition at how people are going to feel. Someone wants to build a hotel, yep, and people are going to feel like this and this and that, etc. I've already got people sitting, dining, at the hotel, having a great experience. And I want to get on and do it because I feel it, I see it, I want to make it happen. And through the years of experience and age and slowing down, I've now become the tortoise. And becoming the tortoise, I have met so many people. I've learned so much along the way because I've slowed down, paid attention, and absorbed all the wonderful information on the journey of life instead of the destination. And so that's been so much more impactful along the way.
Yeah, that's amazing, really. And Sarah, I will put all those links,
Mhm.
the on the YouTube channel is going to be, and Spotify, and more on 20 audio
Wonderful.
channels. So, and Sarah, you helped me a lot with the new news. Always, I asked you to help me for the new platform for the podcast. So I
Mm.
must say that Sarah really helped me, because as an experienced podcaster, to deliver my podcast to many new channels. Thank you, Sarah, for that. And I
My pleasure.
wanted to public to thankful you to you again. And I know you mentioned that about some your speaking engagement.
Mhm.
Can you share with us a little bit about that?
I recently moved from Victoria, Vancouver Island to Nanaimo, where my daughter and the children are. And I just started kind of locally networking. And from that, I have interviewed so many local people and also been invited to do an awful lot of guest speaking. Two got coming up in November, just done one. And even one of the people that I interviewed had a colleague in Dubai who was putting on a summit, and that person looked at what I doing a financial summit, which is not me. Don't ask me to add figures up, but wanted me to talk about the attitude around money. And so I was on that summit, which is live last week, 27th to 31st of October. And so you never know where it's going to come from. You never know if people are going to refer you and this and that. And so my talks that are coming up, they're going to piggyback each other. One of them is the knowingness in business, how to trust your gut instincts, because so many people have um, ABCs to do in business and they ignore their gut, ignore that voice in their head or that feeling they get and go and do it anyway. And afterwards, why didn't I listen to myself? And I want people to pay more attention to that. And then the other speaking I'm going to be doing is actually more spiritual and more about attaching our divine core, our divine wisdom, and what that wisdom is showing us in the beingness of who we are, and how we can become so much more spiritually conscious and rise up to a higher vibration, higher frequency, which will be the healing of humans and planet. So the more and more of us that rise up to a higher frequency, that of love, kindness, consideration, compassion, we become the healing vibration for the planet. And a lot of what the world is going through right now, 8 years ago, the universe gave me a saying: I'm going to shake you up to wake you up, for you to step up, change it up, and grow up to a higher vibration. But also, as a human race, grow up. Stop whining about what you haven't got and be appreciative of what you have and the ability you have to make the changes you need. And we're very much in a shakeup right now. But that shakeup is very much here for a reason. And we're going to see a divide of what I call third dimensional people that live in anger and hate, and it's everybody else's fault and no accountability. And people that don't want that, that want to grow and move forward to a higher conscious, and those that are rising up to that higher consciousness of compassion, caring. And this is what the universal invitation is right now. Which dimension do you want to be in? And we're going to see over the next decade or so the hate and the discord, uh, and the fearful violence, because violence comes from fear, um, go by the wayside, lose its power, because it cannot sustain the energy. Um, and the people that step up into a higher plane, into a higher spirituality, that one of a loving consciousness, have an energy with them in flow all the time. It doesn't have to have a high peak or a low. It is a beautiful rhythm. And when you're in that rhythm, you are in that space of love. And that's when life becomes so much more meaningful, and you become so much more inclusive with other people, and everything becomes so much more solutionable. So
That's great. And when you mentioned that people need to find themselves on higher level
yes.
frequency, how how yeah, there are different ways to do that, but maybe
Hmm.
you can share with us one of two.
Yeah, well, one of the things is, again, being aware. All right, but what do you feel is the monkey on your back, the chatter in your voice? You're not worthy, you're not enough, you're not this, you're not that. And really challenge that. I talk to people a lot about having mirror talk. It's very hard to pull the wool over your own eyes when you're looking in the mirror, right? And it's like, well, where is this coming from? Is this your expectation? Or is this other people's or society's expectation on you that you feel you have to live up to? And that needs, you need to close the door on that, because society has, other than ethics, consideration, and a sense of respect, and we don't go out and hurt people. um, we really should say to society, you go and do your own thing, I'm going to do my own, right? So we've got to look at, what are we carrying from our past? What programming are we looking at that's dictating our life? What trauma are we holding on to that we were unaware of? And be willing to do the work to release that. And then stepping out into, well, who am I now? What is the real essence of me? And going in to truly look and see and feel who you really are, what gift you really are, because every single one of us is a gift. We're all here to contribute with our gift. What instrument are you? How do you play it? Then which orchestra do you join? Each one in their own strength, harmoniously playing together to transcend. So that is the journey that we need to take. But it's got to be one that we're willing out of free will to take. I call it the sunny side of the street. There's people on the other side of the street with all the skills and the tools to help you on your journey. You've got to come out into the street and the sunny part to ready to receive it. But for some people, it's too blinding. So it's okay. You can come out onto the side path in the shade until you feel ready to go on to the sunny side and ready to receive that information. But nobody can come into the dark to get you. It has to be your free will to step onto that sunny side of the street and want to heal, want to release those things that have clamps on you, and want to make that self-discovery of who you really are and what you're really here to do.
Oh, that's lovely. You just touching my heart. Yeah, this is amazing because we really need. We cannot tap into dark and to be blind. We have to tap and to connect with people, to, as you said, to the other side of the street, who can really
That's
help
choice.
you.
That is choice. And I know that for some people, they're so in the dark through being so wounded. But at some point, we always see the light. And it is like that choice to make. Am I going to continue to be wounded? Am I going to continue to be the victim? Which gives power to the victimizer. If I know one to give power to the victimizer and become my own person, I am no longer the victim. Again, it's not what's happened to me, it's what's happened for me. How am I going to discover my strength, my courage, my ability? And only by walking forward and going through the process will you discover that. And as I said, I've interviewed some people that have come from the darkest spaces you could ever think of, and who they are today. They haven't forgotten. They can talk about what's happened to them, but they no longer feel the pain attached to it. They're no longer in that space. They decided to move forward. And that is part of being a human being, is facing our darkness and deciding on to become the light in the darkness. And that is our choice as human beings on this planet. We're all going to get given challenges, all going to get given struggles, but we don't have to have suffering. That's a choice. We could choose no to the suffering. It's a struggle I can overcome. What do I need to do to get there? And that
Yeah, and
requires the
this
strength.
is a beauty of Sarah and all those podcasters and coaches and people who just wanted to be shine, just to help you
Yeah.
to open your eyes. And I
Yes.
think that, Sarah, when you mentioned that through your podcasting, that you really help people to open their eyes and
Yes.
move into the straight way to help themselves and to say,
Yes.
okay, I wanted to be some. I really wanted to discover who am I. I really wanted
Mm,
to overcome my sometimes, and after that, maybe you can just go and see, and you can say, okay, why I was in that shoes,
mm.
because I
Yeah.
didn't know. I need someone to help me.
And
And
these aren't the only shoes that you need to wear. You can take those shoes off and put on different shoes.
yes,
And that,
many shoes.
and you know, for some people that are in being victimized for a long time, that's all they think there is. But when they become aware, when you help them to become aware, no, you can choose your shoes. You can
Yeah,
choose where you walk, right?
yeah,
You can
that's true.
choose that future. And then you're empowering them. And then it's just giving them, we can't walk it for them, but it's giving them the tools, the skills, the cheerleading, the support along the way for them to apply and for them to become. Everybody that I've interviewed that has become that did not download an app, did not do it fast. They're all willing to take the journey and become. And who they are today is who they truly are at the core of themselves, doing what they love to do and helping other people in their own self-discovery.
Yeah, and this is the way how we grow and build
Yes.
our community of shiny people. How I can
Yes.
say that people who realize that you can do on your own and
Yes.
don't be victim just to be a hero, be a
Exactly.
gift because you're a gift, as you mentioned
We're
that.
all a gift, every single one of us. You know, I say, I don't care if you're the janitor or the CEO, you're just as important. If you walk into a building and you're off to see the CEO up in the ivory tower, but the place is dirty and tardy and messy, you've changed your opinion on that CEO by the time you get up there. The janitor has set the stage. He has set the place to look wonderful and clean so that the CEO looks good. So I don't care if you are the person that plays the triangle in the orchestra or the person that's leading. We've all got a role to play, and every single one of our roles is important. Some people's roles may be just more encompassing and have more responsibility, but that means they were okay with that. They can take that. And we're given what we are needed to do. And it's just tapping into what is our gift. Who are we? What are we here to do? Podcasting became that accumulation of everything I've ever done, became that accumulation of it. And I think with everything I've ever done, prepared me to be the podcaster I am today.
Yeah, and I know from just in thinking about me when how who was I a few years ago before I starting podcast, and you also just what is accumulation of
Yeah,
stories, and you're
yeah.
not Sarah the same person like 13 years ago,
No,
and you
absolutely
grow,
not.
grow, grow, and you just really deserve to take action and to step into that places in terms to help people to discover themselves and to see the life to the other shiny side, like to help
I
themselves.
had to stop being a people pleaser, right? I had to stop apologizing for what I wasn't. And I had to take ownership of who I am and know it was enough. And that's been the journey for the last 13 and a half years. Is me through doing these podcasts, discovering my own voice, learning from the experts that come on, of that, why am I apologizing? Why am I trying to please everybody? Just be yourself. You are enough. And that was not something I was ever given. And that was something I had to find for myself and give to myself. The only person that can give you permission is yourself. You don't need permission from anyone else.
Yeah, that's yeah. I really I'm so excited with this show today because you just share such amazing story and really encourage, your experience and how how you're talking now and what you experienced and challenges and everything. Just I think that this episode will help people a lot just to think about who they are, really who you are, who you
Yeah.
are.
I think one thing that the pandemic did is that it revealed the people that are behind the scenes that are taken for granted of how necessary they were. The farmers, the grocery workers, the people that got the food to the table, the nurses, the doctors, the janitors, all of that. And we suddenly saw them in a different light, and we suddenly showed appreciation for them, whereas before we're taken for granted. And I think it was also a great gift for people. Yes, it caused a lot of death and a lot of pain, but it was also a gift for people to pause and to reflect, to review, and then to renew their path of where they wanted to go. And I think that we can take that pause anytime, but we don't, because we're always so busy. We need to take that pause now and again, just to stop and go, am I on the right path? I'm actually going to go away this weekend and see a couple of friends and spend some time with my son and his wife. And it's an awkward time because there's a new baby, and I'm got shows booked right up until December, but it's like I needed to take this few days off just to kind of recenter myself. And I think we have to listen to that. If we're feeling a little off kilter, if we're feeling a little overwhelmed, if we're feeling can't catch our breath, is that what can you do to take that deep breath and recenter yourself? And sometimes it's simply saying, no, sorry, at this time I can't. Not that I won't, I just can't. And reschedule. And that is okay to do, because if we push ourselves, then we're going to push ourselves into either making mistakes or resentment or breakdown. And so we must learn to listen to ourselves of when we need that pause, when we need to just either regroup, renew, or just simply take a breath.
That's lovely. That's lovely, Sarah. I have a lot of questions for you today. And before we ramp up our call today, do you have some like a message for our listeners to take care about them and think about more and more who they are, who they really are?
I know from personal experience, I was in the dark for 8 years. Everybody else thought I was functional. I was a wife, I was a mother, businesswoman, and I was everything for everyone else, but I'd completely lost myself. I'd hid in the dark because I was suffering. And the light was over there saying, come on out, come on out. And it's only when I suddenly realized, oh, I'm becoming apathetic, becoming to a point where I don't care anymore, that suddenly, oh, I better get out. I better get out. And when I came out, the sunlight, the light was just so bright. It felt blinding, and I felt shadows were chasing me, until I realized, the more I walked forward, that it wasn't shadows, it was shading, it was contouring the light for me. It was giving shape to the light for me to recognize what I needed to know when I needed to know it. I can now go into that darkness of peace, for I am the light in the dark. And what I need to know when I need to know it will be revealed, for I am the light. But you have to make that choice of, I have to step out into the world. However hard I think it's going to be. It's never as hard as we thought it would be. Not when we really truly engage, not when we truly look forward and we take the skins off that no longer serve us and we let go. And then a lot of it is forgiveness. Maybe forgiveness of what other people have done to us, but forgiveness of ourselves. Because a lot of times, why did I allow that to happen to me? Or why did I react in that way? Well, we reacted that way because that's where we're at this time. Forgive yourself, forgive others, let it go. Doesn't mean you've forgotten, doesn't mean you'll repeat it. It just means by forgiveness, you've cleaned the slate and you can move forward. Be willing to take the journey of your own self-discovery, of your own recovery, one step at a time, no expectation, no timeline, no hurry up and do it. Listen to that inner voice that's begging you to hear, to listen to. Listen to the universal wisdom that will guide you always on the right path. When you've aligned, God, universe, source, spirit, energy, whatever you want to call it, when you have aligned and you ask the universe, what am I meant to do? Get out of your way, get out of your head and wait for the feeling. And the feeling will come and then you'll know what to do. That's the knowingness. And it's always with you. It's always going to guide your core right. is always going to produce the people you need when you need them, the words, the actions that you need when you need them, because you are at one with the universal energy. Your essence of the being is shining bright, and you aren't the humanoid anymore. You're the human being at what you're doing, not doing what you're being. But be willing to take the journey. And however long it takes, I'm still on a journey. I'll be on the journey to the end of my days. Who I am today and who I'll be next week or and a year from now
You're
will
on the
be
journey today.
absolutely, absolutely,
In this
because
show.
that's what's so exciting. Keep your wonderment alive, your exploration of life. Look at life as an adventure. Don't settle. That's when the mosquitoes come, when you become stagnant. Be that fluid current of water, that air that moves around, the the blood oxygen in your body. It needs to be in flow. You need to be in flow. We can stop and pause and center, but then we need to get back into rhythm and go with the flow of life. But pay attention to your inner self and listen to what the universe is telling you and act accordingly. Don't push back. Don't think it, feel it, to know it.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. You know, and if you want just to get to know more, just please connect with Sarah. She can help you because she experienced that and she's experienced podcaster. 13 years from now, Sarah, I really enjoy, you just, as I said, touch my heart. And as a podcaster, I know how you do that, but as a speaker, you really change something and I felt different energy, to be honest.
Oh,
And thank you
wonderful.
so much for joining this call today.
Ah, bless you.
Far
Thank you
away
very
from the
much.
two different sides of the world. I'm in
Yes,
Southeast Europe, Serbia, and Belgrade. You're in Canada, US, Canada.
I'm on beautiful Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. Yep.
Yeah, so we're in the different part of the world with eight, 9 hours time difference.
Energy knows no bounds. Energy can
Yes,
be shared
yeah.
anywhere at any time through any apparatus. You don't have to be in person to have the energy. That energy is there at any time. Tap into it, please. You are energy. You're beautiful, divine, wise energy. Tap into your energy, resonate it out. It will precede you wherever you go. And then you'll ignite with other energies, and suddenly you become a symphony.
Yes, that's good, Sarah. Thank you so very much. I will see you again on my show, when you
Yes.
have something to share on new book, whatever. Blessings to you and your family, and wish you a lot of success in your podcasting. You have an amazing new guest speaker in your podcast. And thank you again. Thank you so very much, and see you very soon in our new episode in our new
Thank you
show.
very much, love. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.